A lot like coffee.
Or tea.
Or tea.
I heard tea's more caffeinated.
It depends on how strong you brew your coffee. I guess tea could be more caffeinated because I mean, if you let that stuff steep for like an hour, woo, doggy, you're gonna leach out all the caffeine.
But
So how do you do your ears?
I got little plugins,
Okay.
so I never lose them. I'm old school.
Well, that's what I have. I just don't know where I'll put them.
I mean, I just always keep them next to my keyboard, so...
Well, yeah, I do too, but last week's Fooboard PC decided that it was going to automatically move all my stuff. So I can't even find the thing that turns that on.
Is that under the keyboard?
Oh no. Hold on. I forgot all I got to do is plug it in. I'm still trying to recover, like I said. So how has your week been?
No, it's the last week of school, so kids are now starting tomorrow, going to be home for 2 weeks, so... Yay. Let the chaos begin.
Well, that's all right. It's, you never know when they grow up so fast. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Well, yeah, just look at freaking Gur's kids. Oh, now he's a grandpa.
Yeah. I'm not looking forward to that. Why is it not updating?
It's okay. We'll do it live.
Okay, we'll do it live. We'll do it live. I wonder how many people know what that's from.
An angry American newscaster who was in, was it Germany or Russia at the time? I think I'd heard.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious that that they did an in joke for it of that exact line in an episode of The Walking Dead.
Really?
Yeah. They're getting ready to. It's Abraham is the one that says it. They're getting ready to, I don't know, go slaughter a bunch of zombies or something, or no, they're moving from one place to another place, and they get ambushed by a bunch of zombies. But in the process, before they do that, before they get ambushed, uh, they're talking about a strategy. Like what would they do? And then they just the walkers come out of the woodworks everywhere, and he just goes, "We'll do it live." And then they go in and start attacking. It's great.
Oh, dear. But yeah, still kind of struggling with this cold. thing. It's kind of just a nagging sore throat now.
Thankfully, we haven't hit that yet.
Mm.
And so, I about a year ago, I was diagnosed with sleep apnea, basically snoring, and so they put me on a CPAP machine. So I get to wear a squid thing every night I go to sleep. And I'll tell you, I have not gotten sick, not one day since. I have allergies throughout the day. I'll sneeze every now and again, but no sore throats, nothing. And I think it's because, for the most part at night, I'm sleeping with kind of a filtered, enclosed system. That's my theory, anyway. Not sure if it makes any sense, but
That makes sense.
it does in my mind. We went to a store yesterday, and I ran across all these. I just sent a picture to the Discord chat.
Oh, yeah.
I thought of you as I was shopping. It's like, whoa. So we've got, in America, Lego is heavily pushing a campaign, Legos for adults.
Yeah, I've seen that on their official site. Not so much in stores here.
Yeah, I gotcha. And this is just a small sampling of them. I mean, I don't know, they're pretty cool, but they're pretty damn proud of their prices too.
Yes, they are.
I mean, $104 US for the Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
No, it's just plastic.
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, other than that's not the Lego I buy.
I know. Well, I mean, I realize me saying that we can tack on another at least 30% on what your price would be.
Actually, I can probably look you that up. No. So that's almost 200 Australian.
Oh, wow.
But it's available now.
That sounds like a lot to me, but I don't know what the conversion. Like, okay. For example, how much is like the cheapest loaf of bread or the most generic gallon of milk for you?
Somewhere between $1 and $2.
Wow.
It depends on like the grocery store as well, but like
sure. So I think the cheapest we can find bread here, at least in our area, is about $3, and milk is usually about $5 a gallon.
Why did I close that? I'm immediately wanting to look something up.
I got gas last night. It was about $2.89 a gallon.
So, 4 liters. Give me a second. I'm just doing a conversion.
Yeah.
Where's the milk? Milk. Yeah, about $5 for about the same amount here for milk.
I gotcha.
Obligatorily take a stab at that our milk is probably healthier though.
That yours is probably healthier. Yeah, I'd be willing to bet that.
Oh man. Okay, going slightly political, but you'll know where I'm going with this. So one of the big things, because apparently El Presidente has announced more tariffs on like things like pharmaceuticals and stuff.
Yep, 100%. Yeah.
Yep. What I didn't realize was that apparently Australia provides like $2 billion worth of blood and plasma to the US each year.
Oh boy.
Okay. However, what I was absolutely enjoying about this was that, like, so I've been getting like news updates on my Windows 11, right? Tell me about headlines and things.
Yeah.
And one of them that it keeps pushing is from this site called Newswire. And I'm like, why do you guys keep quoting Sky News? Who owns you? Oh, Rupert Murdoch. That explains everything.
Yeah.
That explains why instead of, say, getting on someone who, or, you know, the current health minister in Australia, they're getting on the opposition leader's shadow minister. They're getting on everyone to talk about this except the person who's currently handling it. And it's like, oh, how much of a bad job they're doing. And for some reason, let's now talk about how the Prime Minister can't get a sit down with El Presidente because apparently that has to be a thing. Like, we need to curtsy and kiss the fucking ring.
Well, so the whole issue is they want to go with a very specific narrative. And if they only, you know, parrot and mimic those that are also towing the same party line / narrative, then hey, you know, that's less opposition against them. And I just
it very much annoys me though, because like, and this is like I keep saying, especially when it's stuff targeting Australians. Well, I'm gonna get back on that for us. Fucking circle back around to that, but
yeah,
just like Australians who fall into the American politics trap. I fucking hate those people because
I get it.
you guys are a two-party system. Oh, technically three because you've got independents, but you've basically got Democrats, Republicans, and independents. That's
right.
Really all you can vote for. In Australia, our last federal election, we had 6 federal election parties.
Wow.
States.
Now, of those 6, how many were actually viable?
All of them.
Because we do have like Tea Party, so we do have that one. That is a fourth one. We've got a couple of other smaller ones, but the problem is there's overwhelmingly more Republicans and more Democrats than any other party out there. And of course, Musk is, trying to start up, his party as well. But again, it boils down to there's just not enough support. And really, all of those other, if you're not Republican, if you're not Democrat, if you're any of the other parties, that just waters the votes down and takes away from whoever would be Democratic candidate or Republican candidate. So in Australia, with all the 6 different parties that you have, how spread across the board is that? Or do you see a party or 2 parties that are more overwhelmingly supported?
So traditionally in Australia, as many as 4 parties have been able to have enough votes to form government over the last century.
I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah. However, so we're a parliament, but our parliament was designed like your political system. So a Senate and a Congress, although we call it House of Representatives, right?
Right.
With the Senate has to be made up of representatives of each party. So when you fill out your ballot for the seats in the Senate, you're voting for either individuals in the parties or for up to 12 parties in order of your preference. I'm not going to go into how the
yeah, I get it.
The Senate is like elected, because it's maths I don't understand.
I get it.
And I don't want to make that seem like, oh, it's like, basic algebra or something. No, this is like so there's a YouTube channel called Ozpol Explains. He did a almost 30-minute video trying to explain how the Senate gets elected in Australia. It's ridiculously complicated, the maths that goes into how someone gets elected in the Australian Senate. But yeah. Hi, Sax.
Hello.
I didn't know they had sunlight in England.
Oh yeah, that's why I closed down the background. That's vitamin D. Who needs that?
I thought it was just like, constant grey clouds.
Rain.
Yeah.
No, it is that as well.
Oh god. Yeah, but like with the House of Representatives, so that's the one that the major party gets elected, their leader becomes the prime minister, right? What a concept. I know. Not voting some weird third party person to be the leader. Just, yeah. Oh, also, another fun fact. If the person who is the leader of the party gets voted out during the federal election, they can't be the prime minister. You have to be a sitting member of parliament to be prime minister.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, lots of these weird quirks that we have. Like, you can't just put some rando in. Which is a whole tangent I've flooded my Facebook wall with, like, at least 3 times this year about just how annoying it is that America just... You vote people in, and then your party gets to pick some random person who's not even in government to just...
I'm never going to understand it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of folks in political power depend on, is even people in their own politics not understanding how politics works, and they are able, in that point, able to get away with things that shouldn't be able to be gotten away with until somebody stands up and says, wait a second, that's against the Constitution. And then they start arguing, well, no, it's not. Well, yes, it is. And this is why. This is the precedent that was set in, 1943. This is the precedent that was set in 1964. Blah, 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 blah.
Precedent in 1862.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just oh man, what was it that I wanted to circle back around to? Because there was something that had triggered me before.
Australians inserting themselves in or using American politics.
Yes, it was that, isn't it? What was it? Oh, yes. Sorry. No, I remember now. So these people who are Australian, who get caught up too much in American news because of the fact that Murdoch basically owns 96% of our news. It's phenomenally evil. And then, because just imagine if Fox News controlled like MSNBC's news and CNN's news, and that, like, you get an idea of the dystopia of news that we get. Sax, just look at the Daily Mail.
I know, like, at least from within the UK perspective, there's select ones be doing it, and you've got other ones that are just like, it's just, yeah.
But like, they get so wrapped. So these Aussies get so wrapped up in American politics and stuff. They start applying it to Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the funniest ones are the ones who have adopted the sovereign citizen bullshit.
Really?
Yes. It's hilarious because despite everything, they will try to use the US Constitution, which for no other reason is fucking hilarious, because we have a constitution.
Yeah.
It's relatively good. It gives me the right to vote. Not the freedom to vote, the right to vote. Yes, Sax.
I've been having, like, going back, there's been a number of times where I've gotten into arguments with other people where they go, you have this right, and I will go, no, I don't. I live in the UK. I do not have these rights that you speak of. Like, that is not a thing here. But it should be a human right. I'm like, should and is are two very different things. Like, I actually have to sit and explain to people that the Constitution of the US is not a global thing. Like, I even have to. I know it's for some it's mind baffling. Like, I genuinely had someone arguing like you should own a firearm, Oscar. That this is a right that you should have. And I went, no, I don't. That's not a right. It's a privilege. I went, no, it's your right to do it. How else are you going to overthrow tyranny? I went, but okay, who are you talking to? I'm Danish. you know what kind of tyranny that we've developed? Oppression towards others, specifically Sweden. Like, I'm sorry, you're talking to the wrong man. Like, people should have arms to defend themselves against us and our deadly deals in business. But no, and then like, what was it? There was then the whole argument of like, they were arguing like, I should only be doing this because they were from a very deep red state, and it was like, I should just be able to go in, show my ID, and I should be able to buy a gun there and then. And I went, that's nice. That's not what I've grown up with. I've grown up with, you need to attend safety classes. You have to go through instructions, training, and then you have to go and you have to be a member of either a hunting club or a shooting range or something of that nature, where you are then qualified and you are certified by someone that says you know how to handle a gun, you've gone through the safety procedures, you understand this. And it's like, and even then, you want to have the firearm at home? Fine. Okay, well, here's the rules. The firearm itself is in one place. You then have to take out the pin and put it somewhere else. And the ammunition is going to be in a third room. Like, it's going to be spread out. So you can't just, pull out a gun and do something. Like, that's what I think is normal. Like, that to me is like that. This is what I think is okay. Not everyone should have these things. And the individual I was talking to just looked at me and went, that is absolute communistic thing. I'm like, what the that is just buzzwords now. What is this?
Yeah. So let me ask you guys. Y'all are both in completely different parts of the world than I am.
Yep.
And not to delve too deep into it. So I'm just looking for a basic, like, plain answer, right?
Yeah.
Think about just this year alone, how many school shootings or mass shootings have happened in your respective country?
So on those specific topics, none. There are other problems.
You'd have to define mass.
More than, well, technically here it's defined as more than 3 people being either killed or shot at.
Then none.
Yeah. So here in the United States, it's happened so many times, I couldn't even count them on 2 hands.
It happened on the same day Charlie Kirk was killed.
Yes.
Yeah. No coverage of that school shooting.
Yeah. So I don't have anywhere else to go with that question. I was just curious.
I mean, again, so there are some other things that can definitely be brought in. I think one of the statistics is that the United States does have a higher quantity of guns that is in circulation within its country on its own. So I do want to say we have to account for that. If you look in the UK, you look in Denmark, you will not see anything like that. The closest you're going to get to that is maybe Switzerland, where they've got very specific, rules and regulations for how these things are meant to be done. But that is just seen as a form of sports. And again, Switzerland's population just means that you can't really compare that population to America, where you're significantly bigger. So there are some things that need to be put into perspective. What is quite higher within the UK is knife crime. Like, that's where it gets really crazy. I think I only have to go back 8 or so years, where my wife worked at a school, and down the street from where she was working, it was a known location for what's referred to as drill rap. And drill rap is a form of criminal crime or gangster music, where they specifically call out hits and talk about stabbing, and they often are associated with actual crime that's been done. She worked close to a site where these videos would be filmed regularly. So criminals bragging about crime that they've done, usually involve people who have committed, stabbings. So that's something that I would definitely say that's much higher within the UK at the very least. I am not up to date about the crime statistics when it comes to Denmark. I am quite sure that we do have gun violence, but it is often crime on crime or criminal on criminal. It's rare that it goes into this quote-unquote civilian population. But again, my insights on this is a little bit limited. I just do remember that some of the biker gangs would come out and go like, well, we're trying to target the ones we need to go for, because let's be honest, hitting a civilian is just bad publicity for us, and that's not what we're there to do. Equally, we're not. It was funny because there was a gang war some years back where Hells Angels had to come out and say, this isn't a race war, it's a crime war. We're fighting over drugs. Please, can you stop labeling us as racist?
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, I'll tell you this, and it's really bizarre. I want to say the last time we saw it was maybe the year 1822. So I mean, it's been a hot minute.
Yeah.
But between the year 1822 and this year, in fact, this just happened like I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago. For the first time, we've actually had uh, candy cane violence here at the North Pole. And I mean, I never would have thought that that would happen. The elves would prefer to eat those things, but it's just it's the day and times that we're in now. I tried
Yeah.
to keep a straight face as I could.
Yeah, I was genuinely sitting here going like, I'm sorry, like, is this like a part of your job? What's happening? But I'm gonna let you finish just so I can like piece things together. And then just went down the route. Like, yeah, no, I'm putting it together. You being oh ho ho ho, being like,
Yeah.
oh, the elves they're just high on candy canes. It's an epidemic. They smoke it, they sniff it, they inject it, they liquefy
all
it.
that. 1822 was when they started getting into using the little wooden hammers.
Mm. Yeah.
So
Hey.
in Australia, obviously we had that recent Southern citizen shooting up 2 cops, right?
Right.
So we do have gun violence, but it is so rare that the police body armor that we have isn't bulletproof armor. It's essentially bash-proof armor. It's designed to stop bludgeoning and stabbing attacks against the police. This is why those 2 cops got gunned down like they did, because their vests are not designed to stop bullets, because it's so fucking rare that it happens. You and your obsessive bloody...
I don't know. My hair's just weird, and I'm noticing it now.
That being said, in Victoria, I think it is, that's a state in Australia. I'm sure the Denmark man knows that. That we have states, yes. But they've had an increase in violent crimes and things like that, and youth crimes, particularly with machetes and knives and things like that. So where I am, South Australia, they also did the same thing. They've enacted essentially you've got to okay, no worries.
Fair enough.
Yeah, they've got to what am I saying? So they've put out these bins basically that you can without any
questions or
drop in machetes, knives, swords, things like that.
Right.
I'm really opposed to this on the grounds of the sword, because I have a sword.
Mm-hmm.
However, I'm also apparently one of the few people that actually decide to go read what the law was, and I'm allowed to keep my sword.
So in researching that history of it and trying to understand where the current law is, have you run across like any justification for why that law is the way it currently is?
Yes. Because of the recent increase, like a 400% increase in crimes involving machetes and knives.
Well, yeah, no, I get that, but I mean, like, how far back does that law actually go? Like in your history?
3 months. It literally just started.
Gotcha. So
Before
in a completely unrelated topic, I am kind of curious to know about what your opinion is on.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Although I will say, if it was
Mhm.
my opinion on guns in America, that's complicated. Because here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
You know how we like? I'm sure it happens in the UK and whatnot. Anyway, where the government will institute buyback programs
Mhm.
to, like, take back to buy your firearm off you, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Do you know how that actually works in the US?
Isn't it just like you get certain like coupons or something of that nature?
Something of that nature, but there's a tad little add-on there because
Right.
it's not the government who's collecting the weapons.
Oh,
It is
is it
a
the NRA?
no. It is a third party who, more often than not, destroy the gun but remove the receivers so that they can sell the receivers to make an extra profit. Because the receiver is obviously the
Yeah,
main
that's
component in. Yeah.
yeah,
So they destroy the gun,
yeah,
removing the receiver, and then resell the receivers.
yeah.
And it's like, okay, so Joe Nobody can go buy a receiver because the ATF doesn't have regulations properly for that.
Yeah.
Get a carbon 3D printer,
Yeah.
print himself, off the
Yeah.
internet, the rest of the gun, install Ghost Gun.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's on the internet. There's an entire site where you can go and get that because
Yeah.
there is someone who believes that this is a constitutional right, and they've released that out.
And it's like, when you put all these factors together, all these buyback programs really do is probably take guns that don't work anymore, or take antique guns that probably go back like 100, 200 years in these people's families. And yeah, just what the fuck?
I do agree. Yeah. Like again, I can understand and I can support the concept of, we are doing buybacks and what have you. But the whole point of that is that it's meant to be making that difference. It's meant to be actually taking it off the street. So if there is then someone who goes like, well, we need to make an extra profit on it because we now have to do this. It's like, well, now you've not really done your job, and it's probably going to be harder to for the ones who buy the specific components. It's going to be hard to track down if they start doing 3D printing.
Exactly. Man, like, looking into, because like I used to be of the mindset of, oh, it doesn't work in Australia. Like, it does. Australia's gun laws wouldn't work in America because different cultures. But really, it's got to do with really waiting too late and always doing something capitalist.
Yeah.
Or rather, toxic capitalist. Like, there's not necessarily anything wrong, but
no, but like it's the whole like late. I think what's referred to as like late stage capitalism, where it's gotten to the point of where like you're pursuing profits for the sake of profits. Like it's regardless of the actual impact of what you are doing, and it pushes past what at least what I think should be considered ethical, and generates a society where you either don't want to do any work and you just want to do the bare minimum to collect your check and do nothing, which means that it's the whole promise of work hard and you can progress is just null and void. Or you're going to be in a position of where you have to backstab, trip, and do other things to rise up. And would you look at that? We're now working in mental Barrison.
Yeah.
Should we bring it over to tabletop games?
Sure. That might be a lighter subject, depending on where we're about to go.
Well, I just had my 40k game yesterday.
And we're right back here.
Did you haven't had your 3.5 game, have you?
No, that's next weekend.
Next weekend.
Yep. It's every fortnight, so yeah.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
Yep.
So last, basically, there's a bunch of things that's happened. What's it called? We had reached like the 4-month timeline within my campaign where okay, the players have had 3 months to go and do their thing, and it's also for the players to become used to the system, how it works, and so on. I keep in mind that we're moving into a game where some people are like you and me, where they're just we're fucking into it. We know the law, we know this, we're gonna do this. I've got some other players who've come in and gone, I know nothing of Warhammer. I don't understand, the whole build-up of these things and so on. It needs a lot of hand-holding. So it's okay, we need to get them sort of accustomed to this. Which, fine, I adjust my DMing to what it is that we need to do. But they're now out and they are doing a deep exploration. The sector that they're in, as I've told you, it was lost for 200 years.
Mm-hmm.
We are playing in post Gilliman, having risen up and taken the throne as the regent, and he has handed out new warrants for new rogue traders to go out and reconquer lost areas because the Indomitus Crusade is ongoing, and it's a hungry beast. It needs its resources, and Gilliman, being the logistical Excel master, is basically going, numbers bad, red, we need green, or at least orange, so we break even. So that's what's going on, which the players are loving. They are the Bitcoin billionaires who are out there trying to make a difference, and the crew is basically a Star Trek crew with the ideas of humanitarians and improving things in the Warhammer universe, which is interesting. Don't get me wrong, it's interesting, but they do have to have some hard lines of where is the line? What can we tolerate? What cannot? What we will not tolerate? And this session was one of the moments where they had to go this is a hard no. Because the last big one that they had, they came to a planet that was assaulted by a warp storm that tore through the ozone layer and began infecting the local population. The Imperials had remained steadfast. They were assaulted by chaos and exposed to a bunch of things, but they're nope, we're doing our duty, we're doing our duty. And the players were these are good people. They genuinely, they live in a hellish night, in a hellish landscape, but they've done well. We can't, just have the old doctrine of remove the old and replace them with the next generation, taking place there. So we need to protect them. They've come to this other place. Yeah, no, but they were presented with basically, the Inquisitor's henchmen going, I want to gut out a solid portion of the government because they've seen and they know too much. The players were basically well, because the Inquisitor's henchmen basically went, here's what we want to do. You get to make your counter argument, which the players were reading as this is a test. We need to now prove that we are actually doing what we say that we're doing. So, all the more better. And it is actually working out for them. The plan that they've come to, there are 2 ships that's stranded. They've been there for 150, 160 years. So they've had to adapt to not being in space and now having to be on a planet, which has been very hard for them. They met with the leadership. It was all happy dandy. We've overcome these problems, all of that. Oh, you want information? Fine, we're going to open the floodgates. We will show you everything. We've got nothing to hide. Please help us get the ships back into space. We need to return to the Imperium. Like they're really focused on returning to the Imperium, which the players were generally sitting there like, well, all of our scrutinies are not telling us that there's any lies. There's nothing that's telling us that they're lying. We've got nothing. Clearly, this is good. Like, we've found loyal citizens. One of the players began like, I'm just going to go through the reports in extra time. And he began finding small patterns, things that weren't adding up. People were sent out for scouting missions, and then only like 75% of them returned. But then the ones who didn't return were then found in other reports on later dates to be on other scouting missions on the same timeline elsewhere. So it's like things are not adding up. The math is not mathing. So he dug in and he found out where they were being sent. And he began seeing another pattern, which was that a lot of the high staff was being rather worshipful of this uniting energy, this divine light that they've been exposed to, the thing that will return them to the stars. And it is an alien species who is known for being psychic, specifically manipulators. Specifically, they have got abilities that allows them to erode down your will, reprogram you so that your imperial doctrine shifts ever so slightly over, and it is now in the interest for you to align with these aliens, to work for these aliens, so that you can accomplish your ultimate goal, which just happens to be the same as the aliens.
This is very Cabalish.
Very Cabalish, yeah. So the players had discovered that, and they were like, okay, we need to deal with this really quickly. So they took all the players that took like a bunch of NPCs, and they were like, right, we're now just gonna like parachute down there, like get a Valkyrie down there. The Seneschal, who was an NPC, was basically told like get the command staff of the planet on board our ship and give them the longest PowerPoint presentation imaginable. To which I rolled, I got like a 7 degrees of success, and the NPC just went, I know exactly which one I need to present to them. They're gonna be here for the entire day. It's like, oh, does it have graphs? It has graphs, and I'm gonna be asking questions halfway through, so they better pay attention. It's like the worst thing you want. An interactive presentation. So the players go down, they get into the site, and they immediately encounter, the workforce of the aliens, and it turns out that they are doing cloning. A lot of the people that are not returning back are actually kept behind because they're using them to feed their pets, and they're using them to decompose them so that they can better study the human biology to improve their own clones and refurbish the tissue and gene pool that they have for their clones. Not bad. You then also discover that they have what's known as Sakri extensions, which is basically servitors who are built to basically function as psychic nodes, so that the leader, his power latches onto them, and then they basically function as like telephone poles, so he can go really far out with how he can control his full army. And they're like just mindless, careless creatures. So he doesn't have to worry about, morale. He doesn't have to worry about pain. They're just going to do whatever he tells them to. With me so far?
Yep.
Yeah. It looks really bleak, doesn't it? It looks 40k-ish.
Yes, it does definitely look 40k-ish.
Yeah.
So the players... yeah.
So the players arrive, and they come in, and they're like, right, well, guns out, no Russian. And then there's just gun. And they actually get to see like how scary their characters are. They're only level 3, but the weapons that they're coming in with are just packing punches. They are ripping through the slaves like they are nothing. The Sakri starts releasing out their pets, which are these. Think of the Krell, but remove the tentacles and remove the beak. Just these floating brains that comes towards you, and if they get near you, they will psychically attack you, and they will start lowering your intelligence and your willpower. Really scary stuff, isn't it? That's scary. And when they die, they release out a scream where your willpower has to resist that scream. And if you don't, your body then experiences going into the warp for the first time again when you do warp jumps. So it's like being seasick.
Yeah.
So if you kill them, you risk being mentally attacked, and then your body will go like, oh shit, I'm sick now. And then you're stunned for like 1 to 2 turns, which can be a huge difference in a fight. So the players are having to deal with all of these things, and they came prepared because they realized, it's going to be narrow, it's going to be corridors and so on. So bring flamers, bring machine guns, set up overwatches. Things come around the corner, just shoot. Because if it's not one of us, it's not important. Which was fun. So there was a lot of that, and at one point we had to, as you know, with the rules in the Warhammer games, if you roll a 10, you get to confirm it, and then you do more damage.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Arch Militant threw a grenade, rolled 17 points of damage, very respectable, and there's a 10 in there, very nice. Roll, confirm again, another 10, confirm again, and then just a 1, so 28 points of damage. But because it's like 4 meters in tight corridors, it was just red mist. Like, people just died.
So you basically scored a Space Marine charge.
Yeah.
With what? Wow. That's.
It was just chaos, and like there were so many dead bodies in like this like corner where like I was just like, I have to remove them now because I can't see what's going on, and I didn't have the tokens for the blood because otherwise I would have started like just filling it with blood because it was gore, blood, and like dismemberment in that entire area. So much so that I ruled that area was now considered to be difficult terrain. So when the next wave of enemies came along, they were slipping and sliding in the bodies. Which, funnily enough, also activated for the janitorial slaves to come out and start cleaning in the middle of the fight.
Yeah, I assume that they don't have any Astartes with them, right?
They do not know.
Okay. Well, in this case, every one of these slaves and stuff that they're picking off, that's just XP right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just... I mean, I know the janitor stuff, they're probably only worth like 1 XP, but every one of those is...
Everything counts up. Yeah. It was a major one. Like, some of these slave laborers were basically the size of occurrents coming at them with huge clubs, like ready to like beat them down. With unnatural toughness, unnatural strength, and the group was just like, well, we've got storm bolters and hell guns. Just let them rip. And that's what they were doing, just non-stop.
Oh man, that I'm kind of getting that. I don't know if you've seen it, the Astartes fan movie. Yeah. I'm getting the corridor scene action vibe from this. So just
where you've got like 100, like 50 of them just running down, and the guy's like, okay, where is the enemy? Where's the enemy? Holy shit, he's bigger than I thought. And then just goes, just fucking shoot. There's 50 of them down there. I actually watched a guy like ex-military, I think it was like special forces as well, like sit and basically explain like this is actually better storytelling than you realize, because you can see where he is aiming. He thinks that the enemy is at the same height as a human. So when he sees the navel of the space marine and has to bring it up, he's realizing what he's firing or what he's about to fight, which panics him. So he shoots, which shoots down everyone. But if he had allowed the guy to like go halfway down, he wouldn't have been able to go anywhere. He might actually been able to do some damage to him. But he panicked, which allowed for the smoke to pop in, and then for the for the plasma gun to be shot. Which again, small details. I didn't think about it, but it made perfect sense. Just the sight of a space marine like that, like even if you are enslaved by a UVAF, you're like, oh shit, that's a big one. I better shoot now.
There's only 24 of my friends in the way. That's fine. I did stop that.
Understandable. I mean, what have I done? I've had another campaign where it was a separate group for this one, but we were playing only war, and we had set them up to basically be shock troop armored infantry. So they had a chimera, they had really good weapons. They were sent in to like break lines, go to places and hold them against overwhelming odds, and like just like really tough bastards. So they were then prepared to like do a huge push, because I was basing off one of the books, one of my novels that I have, where a planet gets invaded by chaos, but primarily cultists. So they have to basically do a punch through where there is trench warfare. So punch through, get in there. There's a hill further back, which is a communications relay. Take that hill, take over the communications, and hold it for the reinforcements to come over, because there's a special auxiliary / a specialist regiment they need to get that equipment so that they can get the codings and start to basically see like what codes are being used, so that they can start like listening in on the enemy. So they go in, they punch their way through, they get up to this hill. It's them and like 3 other chimeras. And then they've got like infantry reinforcements. So there's around like 150 of them who gets up there to like a already prepared entrenched site. They reinforce it themselves, allow them to basically do peekaboos with the chimeras. And they're ready. Like they've got multiple snipers' nests. They've got the peekaboos. They've got like what's it called, barbed wires and trench lines and lots of infantry that's lined up. So they're like, yeah, no, we've got this. They know that a counterattack is going to come. They were told a counterattack is going to come, and it comes. It's 3 people running towards them. They are tall. They have black armor. And about halfway through the distance towards them, they suddenly start jumping up and flying into the air against them. It's raptors. Chaos Marine raptors. And the players are like, what the fuck? They are shooting everything. They have got twin storm bolters put on top, because that's how you deal with hordes, and it's how you deal with particularly tough things. So they're like, just fucking shoot that. So they're shooting that into the air, but the raptors, they get to do maneuverabilities, which means the players get penalties, so they don't hit anyone. The raptors get into their sight, and it's just carnage. Those close quarter things where they're like, oh, no one's gonna get through here. No, they just run right through them. It turns into just mayhem. The infantry are being slaughtered by the raptors. The players are getting desperate. One of them jumps into one of the chimeras and goes, I'm fucking doing it, and rams into one of the raptors, getting the vehicle up and over, trapping the raptor underneath him. And he starts hearing that the raptor is getting out its chainsaw and cutting its way through from the bottom. So the player, being a tech priest, is basically getting out his screwdrivers and like unhitching like the heavy bolter and discoupling the servitor so that he can get the bolter out. the raptor comes out from the floor, and he's just like, fucking die! It just shoots inside the thing, killing one of them. There's still 2 others who are just running around. The other one is, I was like, how did they get through that? Like he destroys like another one of the chimeras, kills like another 20 or 30 people before they get one of the autocannons lined up to actually hit him. And it's just through one of those situations of they have multiple like vehicles shooting at him, because if he uses a dodge on one, he can't dodge the other. So just deny him the ability of dodging all the attacks. So that's how they get him. But they've done some damage, and the other one is jumping from sniper's nest to sniper's nest and just killing the specialists. At the end of the entire thing, it was the main group and like 15 or 20 others out of 150 that were dead against 3 raptors, and it meant a lot of suicide runs, which most of them failed. They lost like 2 or 3 chimeras out of the 4 that they had. That was brutal.
Yeah. Those chimeras don't grow on trees.
Well, it's probably one of the more common vehicle that the Imperium has, but the problem is, not all regiments get them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so going back to my yesterday game, so the players won. They trapped the alien. They put an NPC gunner in front of the door with a heavy bolt and basically told, if that door opens, shoot whatever is coming out. Even if it's empty, just shoot. And he goes, yep, I absolutely will. They interrogate some of the humans that's left behind, and they just go, these people are fucking corrupted. And they actually believe that these aliens will work for them. No, can't have that. You're all condemned. You are going to die. It's just whether or not you're going to meet the Emperor, having done something with the rest of your life, or if we have to send you there with haste. And while they're busy like shouting at the NPC prisoners, or brainwashed individuals, the door opens up. The Sakri is like, I'm ready. I'm going to take you on with my psychic powers. And this lowly NPC, who is told to do one thing, passes his willpower test, because the Sakri, of course, was going to try to like mind probe him and like make him turn against it. But his one order was shoot when the door opens. The door has opened. He has one job in his life. He does it. He passes his willpower and he just lets go. And there's like 8 bullets that hits the psychic being. There's not much left when he's done with it.
I'll be right back.
Yep. So yeah, so that is how my 40k. Yeah. Yes, it is. That is correct, Govs. It is the 40k tabletop game. I can't see when that message was sent through.
Hello.
Hello.
He's back. The joys of being a parent.
Yeah, it's a part of it, I'm afraid. Either way, so that was what was going on there. So the players, I mean, the Sakri, the alien, had then sent out like an astropathic message of like to the leadership, going like, I have been discovered. You must now enact Protocol 66, like that sort of thing. But they were all up on the ship being given a presentation. So they're going like, oh, we need to leave. But the Seneschal going, no, you don't. Because if you leave, you are not governing this planet, so you can sit your ass down, get your pen and paper out, and take more notes. I have another 80 slides to go through, and I've done a lot of work for this. There are graphs in here. Graphs! projections. It's just like the players come out and they're like folding it up, and the seneschal's going like, okay, we'll have a small recess. Go and get coffee. And goes out like, hello everyone, how are you guys doing? It's like, we're about to ask you, how are you doing? I'm fine. I'm on slide 71. I was like, well, you're pretty calm. Like, have they been acting weird? Oh yeah, they want to go back down the planet, but I just assume that's because they've been activated. So I'm keeping them really busy. It's funny though. So the players were basically having a conversation of once the session ended, like, what are we actually going to do? Because they want the planet, they want the people. But if they take the planet and they got the leadership, the people are going to be leaderless, and that means that it's going to fall into anarchy. Like, mechanically, it is just going to fall down. You need to have a leader or something set up. Otherwise, it's going to fall down. If they leave these people behind as leaders, they're compromised. So you can't do that.
Yeah.
And it's a minority. Like, it's only the leadership and their support staff. Gurman. Oh yeah, no, I'm just seeing Goff's comments about Gurman and Yvrain.
Yeah.
I absolutely 100%. It's canon. They cannot tell me otherwise. But yeah, so the players are genuinely like, what do we do with this? And one player went, why don't we just contact the Inquisition that tried to gut the other planet and give them this planet? They clearly want to do something. Like, maybe they just need to meet a quota. Just give them this thing. We don't have to do shit. It's their problem. And the other group of players just went, that makes a lot of sense. Just hand them over to the Inquisition. Yeah, let them do this. So,
Oh, jeez.
I've also been sending out, because the way I do this is that when an astropathic message comes through, the astropath gets the message first. He gets to read everyone's mail. Everyone's. No matter how secret it is, it comes to him first. If it comes in encoded, he gets to see it. And he can then go, I'm not passing this over. I need to decrypt it. Send it back to sender. Couldn't read. Please resend. Like, he can do that. No one can stop him. So he's been given some things. One is a very long and boring report of like, here's how your colonies is doing. Here's the projection thing. Blah 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 blah. And he just went, don't care. Another one was the players had one of the players, when they were hiring NPCs, they got a hold of a pirate / smuggler. Yeah, a space pirate. Yes. And he's basically been writing, my men are bored. I haven't done anything for 2 months. I've been babysitting caravans. So I've been looking to see if there's something interesting, and I would like to go out into this place because I've been hearing that there are things I can go and loot and plunder in the name of your house. Couldn't I just do that? And within that message, I had written a code. So the capital letter of every first line spelled out last chance for real work, or, and then his name out. Like, he would abandon them. Because he's done nothing. He's achieved nothing for like 2 months. So the players were talking about like, oh, we need to like be careful because if we let a pirate off the hinges in a place like this, he's probably going to do some damage to our PR that we don't want. But they're now considering just taking him with them and taking him with them into deep space and see what he can do there. Yeah,
That could work.
Yeah, it could definitely work. And what the other player was then told, another rogue trader has arrived. This rogue trader is an OG rogue trader with a warrant from the Great Crusade, with a grand cruiser named the Emperor's Vow. Just to like hammer it home. And he has a supporting retinue of 6 cruisers, war cruisers. He has arrived in, and the first thing he said is, as he arrived at the station that is like the port into this place,
Mhm.
he went, I am going to this specific sector, VB 581, Void Battle 581. So characteristic of the Administratum.
Mm.
I'm going to go there because you've got orcs fighting Imperium and Rakghouls. It's a freeway battle. I'm going in there with my full army, with my full naval fleet. I'm going to commit to that. I'm going to put an end to that. I'm going to free up the navy that's bogged down there so that they can come out and do some real work. Ambitious, isn't it?
I mean, if you can back it up.
Oh. The ship that he's arriving with has got 3 void shields. So if you want to hit him, you need to score basically like 4 degrees of success just to actually hit him. And then you have to penetrate 20 points of armor before you can do any damage to him. He has a teleportarium, voidsmen that are trained to do shock attacks. So if he breaks down the enemy's void ship or void shields, he can teleport his men in there. They already get plus 20 because they're trained. They get another plus 20 from the teleportarium, and he will then have his, arch militant, which will have his own bonuses, which means they're going to come in and they are just going to wreck shit. So that is his flagship. And on each side, there are 12, on each side, there are 3 different categories of guns pointing on starboard and port.
Yeah, okay, he's gonna.
He means business.
Yeah.
He means business. Like the other player, when he read it, he was like, okay, I have to respect. Like he clearly went down like the military route. Like he is hard military from what I'm reading here, and he is. So they are gonna go and they're gonna dig up his history because he's an old world trader. But if he has had nothing but success from the beginning, why is he here? Of course, he doesn't have success from the very beginning. His family's had some serious, like, downtrodden times. Age of apostasy, age of strife. Borg Van Dyer. He's been on the wrong side of history a few times, and he's had to pay for that. In hard profit factors. That's he's got a navigator house. That's a magistrate. So they are like amongst navigators. They are considered to be nobility. But that means that they are, again, documented. And the other player wants to, again, we need to find out what the dirt is on them. And the dirt is that they often have to come in and they get involved in scandals, trying to, shield other, noble houses from, oh, no, they didn't do that bad and so on. And they have to, usher them out of the way, or they have to go and do this, or they've gotten involved in trade wars that didn't quite end the way it should have, and they've had to pay out of their nose for settling things so that they still maintain their facade. But because they work for such a prestigious rogue trader, it means that they've got access to a wider network of resources to themselves. But they have arrived into this place because they need to talk to the local magisterial rogue traders, or not rogue traders, magisterial navigator house. Because they were doing a great job until things went to shit. Then they were not doing a great job. Because the way that the current magisterial house were running things is we work for the Navy, which means that we have a monopoly on violence and guns. We have the rights. We work on behalf of the administratum to ensure that the tithe is collected, meaning that we get to pick when it is tax season. So they were picking on a lot of people that they didn't like on to go, it's tax season. And they're like, we can't even do this. It's tax season. If you can't pay, we will take. So they aren't popular. They met the quota, but they aren't popular. So,
Oh dear.
yeah, when things went to hell and like they had to face off orcs, ragdolls, other sceners, like they're like, okay, we gotta do like naval stuff, and that they couldn't bully orcs. It seemed to always backfire. You know, bullying orcs, like going like, we're gonna give you a really hard fight and we're gonna beat you. Oh, Yomi, you give me such treats. So they've kind of fallen from grace, and this other navigator house is like, I can't have like a distant cousin of mine fall from grace. I need them to be like moved out. So he has to politically maneuver and find out like, well, what? Here's a check. What amount of zeros do I need to put on this check to make you fuck off and leave them alone? And so you can be happy that they are going to curb stomp you the moment they're back in power, or you're not going to do anything when they slowly shift out of the way. Oh, they shift out of the way, but you're not allowed to take that position. FYI, of course. It's a noble position.
Oh god. That sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so that's the plan of that. The players are allying themselves with a group of merchants who have basically gone, fuck taxes. We want independence. Well, not as in like, they will pay tithes to the Imperium, but they won't pay tithes to the sector commander. It's like saying, I don't want to pay taxes, or I don't want to pay the county taxes or council taxes, but I'll pay like the taxes that are taken out of my income or my income tax, because you know that's going to the state or the federal level. I'll pay the federal tax, but not the local tax. So that's how they want to run, which is causing a nightmare for whoever is taking over, because you now got an entire sector of space that basically goes, we're not paying taxes, not to you. I'll pay it to your boss, but not to you.
Oh jeez.
Anyway, to put some more fun on your plate, my Sunday group, the people who are playing evil people, fighting other evil people, are getting ready for a siege. And the players are like, hey, shouldn't we just storm the castle? To which one other player went, no, are you retarded? And I went, why? We've got the numbers. We can just do this. And he went, no, are you retarded? They've got so many kill zones. Like, look at the map. And they're like, where? It's like, they say, we have to first storm this gate, yeah. Then we have to go over this bridge, yeah. Then there's another gate right here, yeah. And then they can shoot at us from up here. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. And then we get in here, that's a courtyard, yeah. So they shoot at us from 4 different angles. Oh yeah, that's right. And then we have to get in here. That's another 4 angles where they shoot at us. Oh yeah, shit, that looks a bit tough. Yeah, well, we have to repeat that 6 times. Oh, yeah. So we need intelligence, and we need you, the thief, to actually go and do things, rather than sounding the alarm when you decide that you want to be a cat. And one of the other players was like, "Oh, he's like a Vesselkin, Pinocchio. He's a Pinocchio creature of the Fae." And he was like, I know how to get into the Fae. Like, I know where, when there's mushroom circles, I just jump in and they transport me. I'm like, that's fine. Yeah, you do that. Went in, and went, I want to speak to the royal court of the Fae in this region. Cool. Was brought up there, waited his turn, was presented to the Fae, and I went, right, make your case. His case is, there are goblins and they're sullying your lands. The Duchess looked at him and went, goblins will always sully the land. Why is this a me problem? Well, because they're defiling your lands. Yeah, but with time they will just disappear. And it was like back and forth, and eventually she went, "All right, I will do this." Well done, Flamingo. Well done. You have failed his save as a Saxius, and now he's got to do the paperwork. So the agreement was he will take the land, he will be given aid from the Fae. The requirements are that once he has done this, an inspection will be sent to oversee the land, and he's going to be given criteria by the Fae to meet. And he has agreed to this.
As someone well trained in the arts of Fae and Fae-like shenanigans and general, the magic school of enchantment. Motherfucker, what?
Yep. That's all right. I will let him do that. The other players are like, well, he did this without them knowing. Meaning he's now going to show up with a bunch of reinforcements, and they're going to be like, yay! And then they win, and then the auditor is going to arrive, and they're going to be like, who are you? And it's like, I am here for the deal. What deal? Or they're just going to look at him and go, Son Skipper!
I mean, it would be really funny.
What would be really funny?
If they, attacked the auditor, killed him, and that caused a wild hunt to now hunt down each member of the party.
Would be hilarious. So again, the players doesn't know that the characters do not know that this has happened. One of the NPCs that is amongst them is a druid of the Dark Circle, which, as far as my understanding goes of the Dark Circle, they are just eco-terrorists. Extreme. The forest must take over always. Screw life.
Oh,
Dr. Flamingo, you're absolutely right. And don't worry, you don't have to sign any dotted lines when you deal with the Fae. They'll just go, can I take your word for that?
Oh, God. Can I take your word for that? There's a deliciously way to put it, you know that.
Yeah. Because there's a whole thing, can I have your name? And if you go, yes, it is, blah, they go, thank you. And that's how you got an unwanted level in Warlock.
And then they go back, hey, dude. Oh, you're talking to me? Yeah, your name is... No, that's not my name anymore.
So that's what's going on there. There were discussions like, oh, is the order going to be done by the Duchess? I'm like, she's not going to go down from her throne. Like, I found a book that actually gives the stats of like proper Fae nobility. And if they enter the real world, I mean, major event first and foremost, they're huge. But like, they have an effect on like up to 10 miles away from where they are. And if she comes in, literally it is the greatest harvesting season, regardless of what season it is.
Yeah.
That is her thing. But this Fae basically stated when the character's going like, oh, you must do this, you must do that. She went, there are orders, agreements, pacts, and oh god, what did I say? Like but there's all sorts of like agreements put in place older than the mountains you have seen with your eyes that are preventing me from just stepping into the world unless it is dire. And the player was just having none of that, going like, "Oh, will these small things such as words, hold back someone as mighty as yourself?" Like trying to taunt them, and they're just going, "You are not even a baby in my eyes. You're a speck, a spore, a single spore from a mushroom who thinks that their grand plan. You haven't even hatched and developed the roots in the wider world." So all that they're going to do is send out the sylphs or the deep wood elves to give them a hand. Fine. It's not breaking any agreements. It's not breaking anything of that. It is natural creatures from the material world that is being sent to do the bidding of the realm of the Fae. Perfectly fine. That's a part of the great chess game of the Fae and the outsiders. So yeah. But it's come at the price that the players now has to ensure that the land is managed within the Fae's expectations, which they will set out for them. Yeah. If they fail to do so, it will come at a cost. At the moment, I think that the cost might be something along the lines of it will take X amount of firstborns, or X amount, or be like a percentage or something like that, of the occupants of the lands being returned to the land. Again, the specific wording is going to be in the sense of like they either have to be used as compost to feed the land, or they have to be handed over to the Fae. I'll find a better wording of it, but
May I recommend some Shadowrun books, especially from the Tuatha De Danann?
Yes, please.
Yes. I think most of the straightforward Tuatha De Danann books from previous editions would probably suffice. The 5th edition one is the Court of Shadows, I think it's called. Has a nice, essentially, summary of each of those. Yeah, just I'm trying to get into my PDFs to find it. I think it's
how do you spell that one there? Tuatha De Danann.
TUATHA DEDANAN. I think I buggered up the last bit of that.
No, you're actually quite close.
Oh.
God damn. Tuatha De Danann. Oh.
They're my Irish grandmother's ancestry. So I grew up on stories of them.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, a little bit of reading into that. As you said, the Court of Shadows. Nice.
I swore I had a PDF copy of it, but I can't. Like from the back, from a Shadowrun Backerkit or something, but I can't freaking find anything. Then again, it could have been on my old hard drive before I lost everything, so.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no. Court of Shadows. Here we are. Yeah, I had it as Court of Shadows, not the Court of Shadows, but yeah. Yeah, Shadowrun 5th edition. Oh, man. Oh, it's a beautiful book.
It does look very good.
Mm. Did you want
I
me
enjoyed.
to?
Go on.
Oh, did you want me to forward you a copy of it, or you
Well,
good?
no, I'll get a hold of it somewhere. I think I've got a bunch of 5e Shadowrun as well.
Mhm.
If I can't find anything, I will reach out.
No worries.
Shadow of the Demon. So yeah, but yeah, that does look good. I'll look into that for some good inspiration. But Shadowrun's fun. I've done like a mini series, and I've tried to do a serious one, but the group was just not. It was difficult to get them invested because I tried to use like the faction system to basically have like, here is the world of Seattle,
Mhm.
and then I would roll like after every mission, like I'd roll to see what would be happening, and then jobs would be generated based on the events of the world. So that way, like everything was related, and every job that they got was related to the world. And I emphasized to the players of like, you have to tell me if you want to go solo and do your own thing, because otherwise everything's being generated from this. If you're doing solo, you have to do the job. Like you have to tell me what you're doing. You have to do the legwork. You will have no Mr. Smith or Fixer is going to give you the information.
Mm.
And it was such a fun setup because I told them, you're going to be given 4 blocks by 4 blocks of a district, and you have to select the culture that makes up this district. The group unanimously went, it is the Balkans. And I went, what do you mean? It is Croats, Serbs, Albanians, like all of these things. Like it is just Yugoslavia fit into like one place. And I went, you do understand what you are setting up? To which I heard with unholy excitement from my Polish player going, yes, I know exactly what I am asking for. I want this. I need this. It was made for me.
Of course, Poland.
Yes. So it was funny though. So there were 2 players who basically went, I don't want to play these, any of these cultures because I've got no idea with it. So I went, fine, but you are going to be the odd one out socially. Like you're going to have like an outsider disadvantage.
Mhm.
You're not going to get any perks from it. I'm giving it to you. And you have to pick that. So one of them was like, I'm British. It's like, fine, you've married in. The rest of this like society is not really taking you in. No. The other one was Jewish. I was like, cool. Same thing applies. The other one was then a Croat, and the other one was a Serb. I was like, this is only going to go downhill, isn't it? I was like, yeah. And the opening roles were the Russian mafia declared war against Lone Star.
Have you heard of an anime called Black Lagoon?
I have heard of it. I have not watched it.
Damn. You should check it out. First season, probably. One of the mafia groups called Hotel Moscow.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Nice. Cool. Well, so the opening thing was like the Russians, the Russian mob declared war on Lone Star, the enforcement or the police of the city, and it was just brutal. It was just like I did 2 rounds of events, and the Lone Star decapitated the leadership of the Russians. The Russians then retaliated out of like spite by butchering an entire precinct of Lone Star soldiers. Lone Star counterattacked that and routed and chased after the Russians that they were fighting, only to be led into an ambush where the Russians once again butchered a bunch of Lone Star soldiers, which meant that the opening contracts were, would you like to join either side and do some murdering against the other? And the players went, no, I don't want this. But it actually created an environment where all of the different factions in the city block all went, we are not fighting each other because the Russians are going off. They're fucking popping off. We don't want Russians in our neighborhood. So we all agree, we stick to our corners, and we all agree, if we see a Russian, we pop them. We just fucking pop them.
Now, just checking again, you haven't seen Black Lagoon, right?
Yes, that is correct. I have not seen it. I've seen like odd like clips, YouTube shorts, but I never went further than that.
Okay. Story arc, story arc about a maid, and story arc about two freaky kids. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
You look up those in connection with Hotel Moscow. It sounds exactly like what you're talking about.
God damn, didn't even know that.
Yeah, like Jesus.
Yeah. So that's what the Russians and the Lone Star got up to. And then I had a bunch of corporate roles and some other ones. So I discovered that in Shadowrun, you also have Maersk. I used to work for Maersk. I also know, like, go back to like the heydays, like when Maersk was hot shit. They did things, they owned things where you would look at them and go, why? They owned an entire pier in Hong Kong. Like in real life, they owned a pier in Hong Kong just so that their ships would be serviced without having to wait. They owned a £15 million apartment in London where they would then allow for, they would be like, oh, you know, high important people are coming to visit in our London office. They can go and stay there. We have a VIP clients that are coming to visit. Send them to the £15 million apartment. Everything's paid for. They want food, we'll stock it up. We've got an agreement with the hotel around the corner that they can bring their clothes down and they will clean it and send it back and give us the bill.
Jeez.
It's like, and that's like just like the tip of the iceberg of the things they were doing. It's like it was just insane. Anyway, so Maersk was there, and they're like, "We need to make money. We need to make urgent money." And they're like, "Right, how do we do that?" Well, we need to, focus on making profits. Passed. Second one, we now have profits. We now need a monopoly. So they bought a monopoly. What does that mean? It meant that they muscled out everyone at the port of Seattle. Everyone was out, and all the other corporates were like, Jesus Christ, they control this. We need to counterattack them. But Maersk kept, again, the way it works is that if someone does an attack and they fail, the one who was attacked, the asset that they have may give them an ability to counterattack, which they could with their monopoly. So people tried to sue them, and they just went, countersue. So after the players had done their introduction, you're going.
Just quickly, is this Maersk of Shadowrun or Maersk of real life?
Both. Like this genuinely has happened in real life, and it is also what happened in the Shadowrun game, which is even just funnier. But you need to keep one thing in mind now. They own the port in my game now.
Yep.
But they have no money. They've used all of their wealth to do this. So the players, after doing like their introduction missions of like getting used to the system and everything, they get a bunch of things. One of them is, do you want to join the war against Lone Star and the Russians on either side? No, thank you. We don't want to do that. Do you want to investigate this app that seems to be stealing people's information, like quite invasively so? No, don't want to do that. Do you want to go and help protect a caravan of pharmaceutical stuff? That because they can't go up to the port, they're having to drop it off further down into the Badlands outside of Seattle and drive it all the way up. And they went, no, that sounds boring. Would you like to work as security on the port as a temporary contractor? You can see where the players just went and went, yes, this sounds like an easy job. Remember, Maersk has no money, which means they can't pay them up front.
Yep.
You know why I bring this up so often? Because not one player decided that I'm actually going to go and check, because I told the players of like the major news, like the port has been bought. Maersk is tied up in being sued and counter-suing in the courts. Huge quantities of money is being spent here. Did any one of them go and say, what was their profits in this quarter? Like, wow, this sounds expensive. No one did that. If they did, they would learn they are fucking in debt. Like, they are hinging on that port working. And to make it funnier, one of the other corporates was like, we're going to send our own team in there to then try and sabotage the success of this port. The players are there. They do their job. They stopped the other corporate from actually like doing what they needed to. And during the buildup of all this, they also had to deal with a middle manager that was really annoying and probably should have belonged in HR. You know the person I'm talking about. You've met them, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they had to do that. So that manager gets wounded in the battle. And one of the players go, shit, I think that if I save her, I might get a bonus. So he grabs her body, runs outside the port, where he learns this manager, because she's a part of Maersk, and Maersk pays premium, what's it called, health insurance for their managers. He is being met at gunpoint by the ambulance team, who goes, put her down, or we are going to put you down. And he just goes, that's fine. Does that, they come over, they save her, they keep pointing guns at him, and then they leave. And he's like, well, he shouts at them, please include it in your report that I brought her to you. It is really important. I brought her to you. They don't mention that.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's is that Autodoc or Hot Doc? Can't remember.
No, I can't remember either. No. I know there's like a meat wagon. That's Cyberpunk.
Yeah, my God.
Medical services, Shadowrun. It's I can't remember. I think it's Dog Wagon. I think that might be it. It's an international AA corporation. Or it was a Crash Cart.
Duck Wagon, yep. I think
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah, I think it was Dog Wagon, because it's meant to be like high level stuff, because it's an international AA corporation, which is high level.
Mm.
So yeah, they would have had contracts with Dog Wagon.
Are you up on the lore of the most recent edition of An Era of Shadowrun?
I would not call myself up to run like I know like with 5th edition there's been a bunch of things, but I would say that I'm up to snuff.
Cider Croup, Loftweir's company, the Dragon
Yep.
Loftweirs.
Yeah.
They lost their Big Ten status. They're no longer a AAA corporation.
Really?
Yeah, Megacorp. They're now a
Shit.
AA Megacorp.
Oh.
Apparently, Kaltenstein wasn't dead and started launching essentially corporate terrorism against Cybergroup to such an extent that
Shit.
and it might be true that it's because Loftweir stopped Kaltenstein from helping Fershwing. So
Shit,
it
okay.
might be that Kaltenstein was Fershwing's mate.
Right. Okay. I like that. Okay.
Yeah. And for anyone who doesn't follow anything I just said, Dragon, fight Dragon, Dragon have corporation because that's what wealth is.
Yeah.
Rinse and
because-
repeat.
So, yeah. No, definitely.
Bless
And
you.
no, I think that was my wife. But yeah, so that's what my players got up to.
Oh, God.
It kind of
love
fizzled
players.
out. Yeah, it kind of fizzled out after that. Because they kept looking at the options and went, we don't like any of these options. Then they wanted to do something themselves, but it didn't really go anywhere. And I was kind of like, like, guys, where is this going? Like, seriously, I am presenting you with the things that's rolled out. You say no to all of that. You don't have a backup plan, which means that I am now forcefully time skipping you forward. You are closing in on having to pay your rent. Where is this going? Like, I was just sitting there going, like, you have to do jobs one way or the other, even if it's not interesting. Like, I try to make them interesting. Like, if they chose to go down the app is stealing data, they would learn that there is a shadow corporation, which is basically, it's like Meta and Twitter from our present day. But like they create the algorithm in the background for all these other corporations to then manipulate things. And they would have gone down the whole rabbit hole of this being a thing, but on the side they were then doing I can't remember what the exact term is, but it's like blood sports, where they would take over random people's bodies and have them like just attack each other, and people could like tune in from different viewpoints and watch as these people would like go at each other like feral animals.
Mhm.
So they could have gone down that route. They could have gone down the route of the Corbo espionage and war that was going on with Maersk and a bunch of others. There was the pharmaceutical corporation needed people to go out and like do deep runs into other parts to basically what's it called, gather up or like kidnap people that were really good at like chemistry so that they could be brought back and help them. Do protection runs for like mega farms and other things to like, again, like ensure that like food and things like that was being done. And there was a last one that I made that did bioengineering, where the players would like do random hits here and there, but it was basically like to target people that had run away, and they would then make their way towards like having to target escaped experiments. So
Oof.
all the while, you know, the Russians and the Lone Star would be fighting in the background, like being the big obvious thing, and then there's all the like the shadow stuff around that.
See, my partner wasn't too interested in the idea of Shadowrun because I told her about like, you know, kind of stuff that happened in the games when I was a player, right?
Yeah.
Understandably. But
Sorry, that's me moving my mic.
But I had pitched to her the idea, because there's so many different like creatures and stuff in the world, awakened magical creatures and stuff. There's always something interesting and new and potentially unknown to look up. And so I basically had this, to uncover. And I basically had this idea of, and I pitched it to her. It never manifested, but of basically running a Shadowrun game in the style of Scooby-Doo. So the group was like a,
investigators going to look into things and stop whatever it is that's happening.
Yeah. And like kind of do the thing like where, sometimes this was just like corporate meddling or something like that, or, a rogue AI or something like that. And then other times it's like, nope, that's a spirit. It's a spirit that's gone toxic. Do you have anything to stop that? Nope. I suggest you run then.
Definitely.
Yeah, that was going to be a fun one, but
it gets a lot of fun because again, like I've opened up to the concept of like magic and technology being intertwined. Because I used to just sit there and go, "Ew, why would I ever want to mix these two together?" Now I look at it and go, this is quite nice. I like it. It can work. There are some things I sort of have to go, okay, pump the brakes. Like when the wizard goes into astral world and can apparently fly 220 kilometers an hour, I'm like, that's again, I'm over exaggerating here, but my point is like they can move really quickly in the astral world.
That's silly.
Well, that's my understanding of it, is that their speed increases and a bunch of other things. You probably know better than me, but that was what I was exposed to. And basically went, listen, we have to like scale this down, because otherwise, why am I having a map for you to fight, aside from you just flying around and doing these things?
Pew, 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 pew.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the introduction, when the players got together and played, and some people were like, okay, are we geeking or are we bonking? Like, what are we doing here? And the other players wouldn't know what it meant, so they would be like, I suppose we're just gonna have to geek. And they would go, okay, we're gonna geek. And they didn't know what it meant, so the other players would come in and just brutally gun everyone down. And the other players were like, well, so why are we doing this? Is it just we don't want any witnesses? And the player would look back and be like, no, you said we're killing everyone. No, you said geek. I thought we were just going to geek out over things that we're doing. And I was like, no. Geek the mage.
Oh, God.
It's fun. It's just funny.
Yeah. Okay, as much as I really do want to keep talking, unfortunately, I'm getting close to 12:30, so this has been a lot of fun, as usual.
All right, thank you for having me.
That's okay. I look forward to next week. I'm going to hold off on any further particular updates on my 3.5 game because, let's be fair, it's taken a while. It would probably just be easier to do an episode and wrap up everything. That way everyone gets to remember everything that's happened over the last 3 years.
True.
But yeah, so yep.
All right, you take care.
Yep. Hope everyone's enjoyed the stream. Probably not. Yes, no, I don't know. Oh yeah, the Cypher System Kickstarter Backerkit, that thing. Or Cypher Evolved. That just finished. It 23 hours in overtime, I think, because of backer trains. Like, basically, the way Backerkit works, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it gets close to the end and someone backs, it pushes, it delays back the end time by 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That went on for about 23 hours, almost a whole extra day.
Jesus.
From when it should have ended to when it finally did, they ended up with almost just shy of 500 additional backers.
That's impressive.
Yes. I was like, huh,
People want this.
yes. I'm happy about this.
Yeah.
I'm still need to come around to the whole changes and adding a HP system to the system, but I prefer my pools and stuff. It brings more player agency, but anyway. Yep. Yeah.
Anyway, we'll need to wrap this up.
Yes.